Okay, hello. So, I'm gonna talk a little bit about offerings and what it means to give offerings and why you should do it in the first place. I remember some point in my journey, I was kind of confused about the idea of like food offerings. Like, how does it work? What's the purpose? Like, how are they actually consuming it? And upon doing my own research, I realized that like it's more of an energy thing. And for some spirits, it's more of just like a gesture, more of a like consideration thing. Like, sure, I can't physically eat the cake, but sorry, inappropriate. I can't physically eat the cake, but I can enjoy its essence, sort of thing. And over the years, I found myself consciously, actively doing more offerings in different ways, whether it's through song, whether it's through dance, whether it's through, helping another human, whether it's, there's a lot of ways to give offerings. And the reason behind it is the same reason why you would feed into a physical relationship with another human. Like, it's to strengthen the bond, it's to strengthen the relationship, it's to build trust, all that jazz. Um, and there's a lot of different ways to go about it, obviously. I'm not an expert, I don't claim to be an expert, but I just felt called to do that or talk about it, excuse me, as I'm about to give an offer. um, and I mean, you can do it in the most tiniest of ways and it can still have an impact, like, say you're a smoker. If you the next time you go out to smoke, you could easily just like reference your spirits, reference your guides, and be like, hey, if you want to join me, this would be a good time. I'm inviting you into this space. Um and yeah, I mean, it's also a way to like I said, like, feed your spirits, make them stronger. um because no one likes to be neglected. No one likes to be ignored, and like when you feed that energy to them, it does build them up a little bit. And we could talk about egregores. I'm not going to talk about them for too long, but we could talk about egregores and talk about the idea of like energies and entities. And it's like some people say that they don't necessarily exist until we breathe life into them. I'm not necessarily saying that, but that is the concept behind egregores. Like, when you feed into it, when you breathe life into it, then it gains life and it gains power. And so, yeah. And this is specifically for people who work with spirits and stuff. Like, if you are getting into spirit work, if you're wanting to like get closer to your ancestors, I think learning about offerings is like number two on the list of things to learn about. I think number one would be protection, protecting yourself, but number two would be offerings, how to give back, how to replenish, and etc. etc. Um, so yeah. Another thing, I feel like this is somewhat of a pro tip, but if you're eating food and you're the type of person to leave stuff around, please be careful about that. Because there are spirits everywhere. There are unseen forces everywhere. Whether or not we're aware of them, they're there. They're everywhere. And when you leave stuff out, sometimes that can be an inadvertent offering. I remember when I went away to rehab, I noticed people leaving coffee cups around a lot. And specifically, I noticed it after I was leaving coffee cups around, specifically as an offering. Like, I was like intentionally like making coffee and I was like leaving it out for them. And then I noticed other people doing that, and I don't think that was their intention. I think they were just being mindless. And it's like, you don't know that you're feeding spirits doing that, and like, maybe that's good. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe it's like, maybe that's how their relationship with the spirits work. But it's like, when you leave stuff out and you're not like conscious of it, if you're not protective of it, that can be seen as an offering. That can be seen as something for like other energies to like feed off of. And if you don't mind that, whatever. But like, everything is energy, and I think if you're not conscious enough, if you're not aware enough of like what you're consuming, then it can be a problem. Um, yeah. I know for a while, one of the ways that I was doing offerings is like whenever I was drinking water, I would like pour some out, like whether in the sink, whether in the grass, whether on the sidewalk. I would just pour some out as like a means of like, here's a sacrifice. I'm gonna give up some of my water because I'm a big water drinker. Like, I remind you guys every day, like, drink water, and behind the scenes, I drink lots of water. And so for the longest time, I was like using that as like a means of offering. Like, I would pour some of my water out. I would give some of my water out, you know, as a thanks. Also, apparently the Fae, I was recently doing research on the Fae and like the fairies, they do not like the term thank you. I mean, I guess with sincerity, if you like use it sincerely, they can let it slide, but it's generally seen as disrespectful to like the older, ancient spirits of the Fae, which is really interesting. Because I say thank you a lot, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, that's interesting. You know, and there's plenty of different cultures. There's different ways to give offerings once again, but I personally believe that it boils down to your intention and your belief. Like, you know what I mean? So ultimately, this has been a video on offerings. Excuse me. I hope this has been helpful. If it has been, you should definitely engage with the video. You should definitely share it with someone who might benefit from this, and try to have a nice rest of your day. You know, deuces.